TikTok is great for starting trends that quickly move from the benign to incredibly harmful. Over the past few years, this has included the ice cream licking challenge,
Not this again in 2023.
the Kia Boys trend,
Hi, how are you? This is my car, and I am calling the police.
the silhouette challenge,
Put your head on my shoulder.
So the silhouette challenge is going on right now and everybody's jumping on this trend. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. But let me tell you something that's going on that you should be aware of. So I saw this on Twitter and it was up this morning and it says, PSA, if y'all do the silhouette challenge, please do not do it completely naked. Long story short, red is a primary color that can be easily removed when video editing.
the crate challenge,
YouTuber crate challenge gone really wrong.
and many more. Some of these cause physical harm either to the participant or those around them. However, others are intellectually or socially damaging, as they perpetuate harmful stereotypes or ideas and are typically defended as being just a joke or as being harmless. These can be obvious, such as misogynistic jokes, while others, such as GirlMath or girl dinner, are harder to criticize.
If I pay for something in cash, it's free. Okay? If I order something using the Starbucks app and I have money preloaded to the app and then I go order the drink, it's free. Okay? It's free. Got it. It's a free drink. Free drink. If I buy something at a store and I return it, so like the other week I bought a jacket from Zara, and now I have to return it tomorrow. When I return that, I'm actually making money. Okay? Similarly, if I do that return and the store gives me store credit, yeah, it's just like free shopping. When I go back, I'm totally lost here. Okay, everything's free except for you get money back. Got it. If I go out for dinner with my friends or they come over for dinner and we order in and I'm the one who pays for it, and then everyone sends me an e-transfer for their portion afterward. Yes, you make money. I actually profited, I promise. So that's girl math. That's girl math.
The GirlMath trend refers to the mental gymnastics that women and girls commonly use to deal with their finances. For example, if you're spending a gift card, you might not count that as spending money or viewing cash differently from spending on a credit card. While these may highlight common experiences, and these women can very well be great at budgeting or math and are simply playing into the joke, the concept that women are worse at finances than men reflects long-standing beliefs that women are not capable of being good with money or with math in general. This isn't true. In regards to working in finance, women make better investors. A more recent Fidelity study shows women outperforming men by less, 40 basis points or 0.4%. But when compounded over many years, this is still meaningful. For example, someone who invested $1 million for 25 years at 7.4% would earn $530,657, more than an investor who netted returns of only 7%. Regarding those of us managing only our own money, in 2016, according to the Australian Securities and Investments Commission, around 40% of women had emergency savings compared to 25% of men, which suggested females were more savvy savers and more careful with their money than men. A 2019 poll reported on by The Guardian found that men spend more money on impulse purchases, £65 compared to £54 a month, while women are more likely to set a budget and stick to it. The majority of female respondents considered themselves to be risk-averse with their money compared to 41% of males.
Let me tell you why the new girl math trend is actually harmful. Well, first of all, it perpetuates negative stereotypes about girls doing math by making it a joke or a mockery and making it look like girls are bad at math. What's boy math? Opening spreadsheets and doing finance? Do I laugh at some of the girl math stuff and totally relate to it? Yes, absolutely. But the harmful part of it here is that we're using the word girl as a proxy for bad math or silly math or illogical math, and we're just making a mockery of girls doing math, and that is not okay with me. I actually have a degree in math. I studied math for 4 years, and academia in the math world is actually really toxic, especially for women. I never wanted to dress too feminine or wear makeup, because if I did, I wasn't taken as seriously. And because I went through those experiences personally, I will not be participating in the girl math trend, and I hope you reject it with me.
The stereotype that women are bad with money stems from both the tradition of men being the breadwinners, due to only men being able to have jobs that paid for their labor, and thus being in control of the household money, as well as beliefs that women are less intelligent than men, and require a man to take care of them. This paternalistic way of thinking, essentially that women need men to take care of them, is reflected in the name of the trend. Despite mostly referring to girl and women, girl is used, infantilizing and demoralizing the women who use this trend.
BoyMath is calling all your exes crazy when you're the common abusive denominator. BoyMath is a $2 trillion defense budget, but cuts to social services like public education and childcare. BoyMath is being 6'2" but shorter than a 5'10" woman. BoyMath is opening up your marriage so you can fuck around, then getting mad because your wife is getting slammed while you severely overestimated your market value. White math is sailing around the globe for spices and herbs just for your descendants to say salt is too spicy. White people math is thinking an 11-year-old black child is a grown man, but a 26-year-old white woman is a child. Landlord math is receiving thousands in rent every month, but being too broke to hire someone to fix the sink. Boy math is giving your baby mom $107 a month in child support and thinking it funded her trip to Aruba. Boy math is making fun of astrology, but majoring in finance. White math is saying this is Jesus. Boy math is being afraid of gold diggers when the only time you had your own property was in Monopoly. Boy math is being homophobic, but loving lesbians. Boy math is never raising the minimum wage, but still expecting Americans to keep up with the cost of living. Boy math is knowing several sexual assault victims, but zero perpetrators. Boy math is what led to the 2008 financial crisis, by the way.
Hi, this is Siren from the editing room, and I just wanted to point out that in the past couple days I've seen some articles, some responses to the boy math trend, which is basically a response to girl math. The boy math trend is basically assertions of boy math is when 90% of violent offenders are male, or boy math is when you have 4 baby mamas and can't pay child support. And essentially, people have brought this up as being, oh, well, girl math was just a cute joke, it was just a trend, no one had to take it seriously, but boy math is going too far. When boy math is really just a reflection of real life statistics about men, while girl math is an infantilization and a degradation of women based on a perceived lack of math ability. I was potentially going to add a different video on this, but since I had to go fix some stuff anyway, I figured I would add in this little aside before moving on to the next part of the video. This, in turn, is related to the rise of TikToks in the I wasn't meant to work genre, closely related to trad wives, stay-at-home moms, and dissatisfaction with the triple burden. The triple burden refers to the different forms of gendered work, which includes reproductive work, domestic work, child caring and rearing, adult care, caring for the sick, water and fuel-related work, health-related work, productive work, which is work for income and subsistence, including work in informal sector enterprises either at home or the neighborhood, and formal employment, as well as community managing work, which includes activities primarily undertaken by women at the community level around the provision of items of collective consumption. This gender division of labor perpetuates women's subordination and prevents them from realizing their full potential and enjoying their human rights. Women primarily perform reproductive work, while in many societies it is not considered as real work. It is still time-consuming, demanding, and tedious. Because the introduction of women to the workforce did not lead to a more equal split between men and women regarding housework, childcare, and other roles typically relegated to women, many women blame feminism for the burden of balancing all three, instead of their partners for not picking up the slack.
Okay, so the dual burden is a feminist key term. It's used to describe women engaging in paid work, but also unpaid work, so the domestic work, women do at home, so the cooking, the cleaning, all those kind of things. And then the triple shift refers to women engaging in paid work, unpaid work, but also the emotional work, so looking after the well-being of the family, their children, in addition to their role as a worker, but also the domestic work they do within the house.
After all, while it is true that the U.S. workforce overall is majority male by a narrow margin, 53% of all workers were male in 2017, while 47% were female. About 91% of women with children spend at least an hour per day on housework, compared with 30% of men with children.
Her man loaded the dishwasher.
Weaponized mediocrity in heteronormative households. Let's talk about it. Weaponized mediocrity is purposely doing something so incompetently or so incompletely to the point where the person you're doing it for, or the person you feel forced to do it for, feels the need to never even let you think of doing it again. Simply because fixing your mistakes takes twice as much energy as you put in. It's a way of punishing your partner for asking you to participate in something you enjoy the fruits of. Weaponized incompetence is more so making the conscious choice to not even learn about the chore or the family management necessity, for the same reasons still. And looking at the caption in this scenario, it works wonderfully. She states she'll never let a man do the dishes again. You would have to be objectively stupid to live in a house with a dishwasher and have no idea how not to give your family gastroenteritis, let alone not start a fire with that wooden spoon in there. He did this on purpose. Multiple studies have already shown just how unequally the labor is shared inside of the home, specifically in heteronormative households. So these countless videos of women complaining about their men's shenanigans are just extra study material. Kudos to her, because I would have fed him right out of one of those bacteria-drenched plates. Don't be acting slow for shits and giggles. I don't have time for that.
The latest available data shows that employed women spend about 2.3 hours daily on housework. For employed men, this figure is 1.6 hours. Gender gaps in housework participation are the largest among couples of children, at 62%, demonstrating an enduring imbalance in unpaid care responsibilities within families. During the pandemic, most layoffs were women, as between February and December of 2020, job losses for women exceeded those for men by 1 million. In December alone, the BSL reports, women lost 86.3% of the 227,000 job losses. In total, 2.5 million women have left the labor force, compared with 1.8 million men. Many women willingly left the workforce as the cost of childcare pressured women to return to the home. Although wanting to relieve part of the burden is understandable, the decision to leave the workforce and to claim that women are not suited for work but are better suited for the domestic sphere is a corroboration of long-standing stereotypes that women are not suited for or capable of holding employment. It also poses a huge danger, as financial dependence can pave the way for abuse and make it impossible to leave if anything goes wrong within a marriage.
Here's what I find so tragic about these young, pretty, conservative women. You're such a gaslighted demographic because one of the pillars of this ideology that you're bought into is that some people are just inherently superior and inferior people deserve to be exploited. And sure, women are technically property, but you don't have to worry about that because you are hot property. Exceptions will be made for you. So you're more than willing to play into this needlessly cruel game because you've been assured that you'll win. And soon the young winning man of your dreams will look at you and say, yes, that is what I'm supposed to want, and acquiring her will make me look like a superior man. And on your way to your superior life together, you will become his obedient, righteous, lonely domestic servant. Congratulations. Until one day, you get a scary mammogram. And you discover that he never signed up to be a nursemaid. And unlike you, the young 24-year-old bleach blonde at the office understands that he's the most important person in any room. And she'll have no qualms about poaching your mate because he's her ticket to a superior life. And at that moment, when the handle has snapped off of the basket that held all of your eggs, you might realize that you were flattered into giving your entire life away in service of a man who only ever saw you as a commodity, because I assure you, that is how these men see you. And being hot property won't have protected you from a life of being used up and discarded. But here's the kicker. You'll have sunk so much of your life into proving your own politics right that you won't be able to direct that rage in the appropriate direction, because that will mean admitting that you were had. So there you'll be, a middle-aged woman with a pert haircut and great Botox, standing in line at a Kroger, making the fact that your life didn't turn out as promised into an assistant manager's problem, because don't they know that exceptions are supposed to be made for you? Good luck, babe. Good luck.
Another trend which plays into misogyny is the vanilla wife, or when a woman competes with a hypothetical woman to be the best abandoned sex object. Typically it goes, I may not be the one you marry, but I'll be the one who you fantasize about having sex with again years from now. It refers to an agreement to conduct sex acts that are demeaning or degrading, or otherwise to being valued more for sex than anything else. Not only does this present an ex-lover as having the power to deem one as being of value, but it illustrates that value as being sexual, not for her company, personality, or intelligence. Just like the other trends, it is demeaning, and despite an attempt to be seen as lighthearted, it's truthfully misogynistic. Claiming that something is just a joke doesn't ignore that there are people who still view it as such, as being a real thing, or that it perpetuates stereotypes and beliefs that are still wholly believed by many. In the same way that bimbofication cannot be reclaimed, neither can these. You cannot reclaim something which is inherently demeaning, inherently places a group as lesser, and is an illustration of an attitude which has historically and unironically been held by a large number of the population. The defenders who argue that it's not that deep are complacent in the perpetuation of attitudes like this, which is often used to defend homophobic, racist, and misogynistic behavior, although misogyny is typically not called out due to how omnipresent it is globally. Which is why it's so important to point out how these trends are impactful and awful in order to mitigate the harm they cause. This, dear viewers, is where we part. Here's another reason to avoid TikTok. I think that it's literally stealing brain cells. I think this is like the more you scroll, the more they melt. Because honestly, I don't see how any of these things are funny. Like, I kind of get it. Like, I also do the thing where if it's a gift card, then you can't spend it anything else. I don't really count that as spending money either. But these little budget tricks, I feel like they're going too far. Rather than just saying, oh, well, it's kind of interesting that we all think, we withdrew money from the bank, and therefore it feels like we already spent it, so it's not a big deal. These are things that are pretty commonplace, but the way that they're presented and the amount of stories and stuff people use, it makes it seem like women are just not good at math. And that's not the case, and it's demeaning because we've worked very, very hard to be seen as equals intellectually, and here we are clamoring back to be seen as girls in need of someone else more intelligent, someone better at math and finances to take charge. I don't see how you can take place in this, especially with how it's being used in couples and that kind of videos. That I just don't see how you can think this is funny. But maybe I'm missing something. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.